Welcome to Hood War Stories.
Damn,
In this
hold on,
episode, I'll be discussing the life of George Williams.
hold on, bro. Hold on. It's Aaron Moses. Let's do this. Let's do this the right way. Let me adjust my screen. There we go.
Was born in the year 1965 and is a
So you're just gonna speed past it when I already told you to hold up. Yeah, we having technical difficulties with this. Okay. So this video is a reaction to the story of George Williams. He deleted all the Pirus at death row. I don't know if this be true or not. I don't know. We're gonna watch this documentary. I ran into this name when I was doing a little research on Buntry, and I was watching some interviews on Blad TV. When I was watching interviews on Mob James, Tupac, and I just kept hearing this name pop up, George Williams. So we're gonna check it out. Let's see what happened.
Welcome to Hood War Stories. In this episode, I'll be discussing the life of George Williams. George, also known as G or Ponytail, was born in the year 1965 and is a member of the Ludus Park Piru gang, which is considered the mother gang of Piru gangs on the east side of Compton.
Okay.
In the early 70s, when George was 7,
Is that Ludus? That's the fucking whack 100. That's what he always says. Come to Ludus Park. I think that's him. When he says that's like a safe haven for all the Bloods in LA County, you could just go to Ludus Park. I believe if I'm wrong, please correct me, but I believe that's what he says. If anything, I got some fresh ass red pants. I don't think I have a red shirt, but I got a nice ass red jacket, and I got a burgundy hat. If y'all want to see me go to Ludus Park, I don't smoke. I mean, I guess I could smoke a little bit and go up there and just see what y'all got going on over there. I would like to go. If I can get an Uber there and back, I could take the bus there. I think I'd be straight, take the bus there. But I would want to take an Uber back because I don't like to go places and have to take the bus when I leave because I'd be paranoid. But let's get it.
sets of Crips began to claim neighborhoods in Compton. In 1972, a few teenagers formed their own gang as protection against the Crips, originally called the Piru Street Gang Boys. They were
Damn, they got the AI. Bro, this is the freshest. That doesn't even look. I don't think this is a real picture. We got DJ Paul over here. We got Playa Fly. Man, what? This is a crispy ass picture, bro. None of these people look. We got Pinky. Man, this is a great picture. I like it.
Created to directly combat the Crips. At the end of the 70s, the violent crime rate in Compton had skyrocketed. George was in his mid-teenage years. He was a smart student, but at this point he became engulfed in his surroundings. His environment and the people he was raised with molded him to become progressively more ruthless as the years went on. By the late 80s, George had developed into a hardcore gang member, and his name rang bells of fear through Compton. Suge Knight had grown up north of Alondra Boulevard and west of Bloomington. This is a patch claimed by Ludus Park Piru. Although he never joined as a teenager, Suge had deep connections with this gang. As Death Row's fortune proceeded to skyrocket, Suge's label had no problem finding talent. Every hip-hop artist on the West Coast wanted in. Suge created a family environment.
Bro, I'm not gonna roast. I'm not gonna roast at all. What profits a man to have a cigar in your mouth that large? In your mouth? In front of everybody? I'm not roasting. I'm just asking. Why do you want something that big in your mouth? But Aaron Moses, hey man, I smoke cigarettes. Cigarettes are only this big. It's not a good look. That's all I'm saying. That's all. I don't see myself or anybody that I'm cool with doing. I mean, if that's what you want to do with your life.
I'm finding talent.
That's weird to me.
Every hip-hop artist on the West Coast wanted in. Suge created a family environment underlined by a constant threat of violence. And that violence was enforced by the killers Suge surrounded himself with. Around 1993, Suge began assembling a hit squad, which was mainly composed of heavy hitters from the Ludus and Mob Piru gang. He personally selected George Williams, and through—
You know what? I knew that was him because it just made me want to look away. This picture, he seems like a cool person, but this picture just gives off bad vibes. And again, I'm not from LA. I'm not from California. Blessings to y'all. But he just gives off bad vibes in this picture. I was just trying to look. If you play this video back and you looked at I was just not trying to look at bro. He looks like I'm not gonna lie, bro. He reminds me of this dude from Chicago. When I was a little kid, he just makes me want to not look at him. He just gives off bad vibes. So I believe this is George Williams now.
George.
It could have been him. I didn't even know.
He met Poochie and added them onto his roster. In the meanwhile, George Williams. And through George, he met Poochie and added them onto his roster.
Poochie? That's the dude that allegedly did something to one of my favorite rappers, Biggie. Biggie Smalls is the illest. These guys are dangerous.
In the meanwhile,
Allegedly.
Used about $200,000 in cash to buy drugs and guns for looters in Piru. This is what got Piru started in drug dealing and gun running.
No, it's not.
Shook surrounded himself with his goon squad at almost every social occasion, as well as being almost residents at his Can-Am Studios. The Can-Am Studios, situated on Oxnard Avenue in Tarzana, became Death Row's main place of business. It's situated in the mainly Mexican and middle-class white inhabited area in the San Fernando Valley. Shook liked the anonymity the location provided. The building of the Can-Am Studios was greeted by a lobby with metal detectors and guards. Security personnel list consisted of hardcore.
It's still there, nigga. $115 Uber. I'm going there today.
Blood gang members who were allowed guns and drugs inside the studio. This location will be the scene of many shakedowns, beatdowns, and other acts of violence.
Never mind.
George was always present at the studio to be the main one applying the reinforcement. He was the most feared, and at the top of the list when it came to danger. Suge would pay George to carry out hits. Over the years, George noticed clear favoritism towards Poochie, as Poochie received houses and more expensive gifts for the murders he committed, while George felt he was getting crumbs in the short end of the stick. This led to built-up animosity, which boiled over.
Wait a minute. So these dudes were allegedly hitmen? And you're just saying all of this on the internet? Who gave you this information? So you're saying that Suge Knight paid these dudes in homes, cars, studio. I don't know. I missed that part as far as the studio, where that tied in. But how are you even legally able to say this if he's not doing time for this? So you're saying this man gave them houses and the dude was jealous of the other dude and he got mad and cause I'm catching more bodies than this nigga. Why the fuck is he like, bro? Like this is just this is like the Bad Bloods Club or something like that. Like he getting more camera than me, blood. Bro, you already like, bro. This is a hoe. Like, I'm not trying to say these guys are hoish. I'm saying this is a hoish type of situation that you're putting these guys in. Like, this guy's getting more recognition than this guy. I do get gang culture to an extent from California because it's different in other places, but that doesn't make sense, bro, because we all know that it always gets greater later, and you might not understand the plan at this point in time, but yeah, all right, let's get it.
As Poochie received,
I'm just saying that you're putting these dudes in a situation that I don't think was actually present.
Houses and more expensive gifts for the murders he committed, while George felt he was getting crumbs in the short end of the stick. This led to built-up animosity, which boiled over into an argument between Suge and George. Some say George was stealing money from Suge, and when Suge found out, he fired him and demanded that George return the gifts and cars he had given him over the years. Other people close to George say he was set up and made to be the fall guy. Whichever theory is true, George refused to return any of the gifts. He felt he had earned them for all the dirt he had done for Suge throughout the years. Suge was heated when he found out George wasn't going to give back the car. Some say Suge had a fear of George, so he felt it was best to get George out of the way, but it would end up backfiring in the worst way. Suge then allegedly put a hit out on George.
That's not wise, bro. And Suge Knight being an Aries, this is very embarrassing. Suge Knight is an Aries, Whack 100 Aries, MC Hammer's an Aries, Juicy J, Quavo, and one more person. I think I said MC Hammer. MC Hammer and me actually got the same birthday, so that means, gang, I'm an Aries. Reese Witherspoon. But that's not wise, but I get it because, look, peep this. So sometimes the big homies or the OGs or the chiefs, whatever you want to call them, sometimes they give the people that they know have no potential more shine than the people. Not saying that Poochie had more, or I'm not just saying that. I'm just putting it out there. Sometimes, just like a little brother and a big brother, like if you're a parent, sometimes you have to give the sibling that's less, that needs more attention. Sometimes you have to give them more attention because you see that they naturally just need more attention. They need more of a push. Not saying that they're less competent or they don't have as much potential. It's just a certain way that you have to treat different personalities different. It's not all business. It's personal, and business is personal to a certain extent. It's called sustainability. You have to have certain types of intelligence. You have to have emotional intelligence to make certain things happen. So I'm not going to compare myself like, oh, well, you gave him this amount of money and I get it. Like, bro, you might not know he's giving him this push because he might think his work is sloppy, or he's doing something, so he might think that this dude might fall into a habit of addiction one day, or he might get, jammed up one day, or he might get smoked because of how he does his things. So he's investing a little less in you momentarily because he thinks you're going to last a little longer. You know what I'm saying? But like I said in my last video, just like Andre Taylor said, the revelation is in the why. I'm not going to go off the handle. I'm just going to be like, why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? But as we understand, gangbanging is a very emotional sport. It's very emotional. Yes, you have to be logical. You have to be a strategist to an extent. But when you're always outside, when you're always doing certain things, you don't always have time to act logically. So it's a lot of it's emotional.
One day, Shook had his goons lure George to a secret location where they gave him a severe beatdown. They tortured him, and Heron wound up shooting George in the ass. They were about to kill him, but somehow George got away.
Horrible.
George went into hiding right after, but started recruiting other Piru members to fight against Shook and his crew, mainly included members from Fruitown and Looters Park. George retaliated by having one of Shook's closest soldiers, Heron, killed. He quarterbacked Heron's assassination by having his girl Woozy, who was dressed as a man that day, and Roderick bounced out on Heron while he was blocked in traffic and light up the car 27 times with 2 AKs. Heron was dead on sight. Before he was killed,
Wait a minute.
Heron
27 times with 2 AKs? Yeah, if that was the South, it would have been a lot different. And it was probably broad daylight. 27 times. That doesn't seem right. AK-47s, the gun? I wasn't there. Probably more than that. Probably a lot more than that. They just didn't want to.
knew George was coming for him. Heron was hiding in the bushes trying to get to him first, but George was 2 steps ahead. Heron's murder was a clear message from George to Suge that the war was on. George had switched sides against Suge and became an execution agent of Roderick Reed, also known as Lil Rod from Fruitown, Piru. Lil Rod had evolved into a powerful PCP agent across the country. Around that time, after he linked up with George, he had a large amount of drugs stolen. The robbery included a friend of Poochie named William. So on August 4th, 2000, Poochie and William were sitting in a van on a dead-end street in Compton, when just after midnight, 2 men run up, open fire, and flee. William died an hour later, and Poochie was seriously injured. It's strongly believed that George is one of the alleged shooters. 3 weeks later, Lil Rod's friend Vince was subsequently kidnapped, tortured, murdered, and found near a Compton graveyard. There was a videotape of Vince.
See? That's what my mama always told me. If you want to act like a gangster, then gangster stuff is gonna happen to you. Hanging with gangsters is acting like a gangster, so you got to choose your company very wisely. There you go.
Execution.
But my friend
Buntry, who was Suge's best friend, and Dudley were rumored to have played the videotape of the execution in front of a group of friends at Buntry's house. This infuriated George. Nearly a year later.
What in the Minister Society did you just say?
Buntry, who was Suge's best friend, and Dudley were rumored to have played the videotape of the execution in front of a group of friends at Buntry's house. This infuriated George. Nearly a year later, Dudley was shot and killed in a hail of bullets in front of Buntry's home. George is alleged to be the trigger man. 8 months later, on April 3rd, 2002, Buntry pulled up to a gas station and fell up. He was about to start pumping gas when 2 men walked up and drew their pistols. Buntry was shot 4 times, and he died shortly after. The assailants fled in a pickup truck drove by a man in a ponytail. Police released sketches of the two suspects based on witness descriptions. It's widely believed the man behind the shooting is allegedly George Ponytail Williams himself. Fast forward to October 16th, 2002.
That's by LAX. I went to an interview right there. Bro, I forgot the title of this video, but it all kicked in right now. This is done very masterfully, bro, because you fit all of these deaths of black people in a very short amount of time. In 5 minutes and 23 seconds, at least 15 people got killed. This is like a Jason movie right here. In 5 minutes. Do you know how long it takes Jason to kill 15 people? Like an hour. And then he kills like 10 more people in 20 minutes. This is pretty good.
Ken Dog, who was a longtime friend of Suge and also designed the Death Row logo, was
and you just killed 2 more people in less than 10 seconds. This nigga was also killed. Who killed him? The nigga that killed him. Like, damn.
dead near a fried chicken stand in South Central. In 2005, George and Lil Rod were convicted in manufacturing and distributing PCP and conspiracy to distribute the drugs. Drug agents who raided their operation in 2003 recovered 175 kilograms of the drugs. Damn. 50 weapons and $175,000 in cash were also confiscated during the raid. Lil Rod and George were flooding the market in South Central and Compton. They utilized the Inland Empire for its remote, hard-to-detect areas, which were ideal for manufacturing PCP. In 2021, George was released from prison. Currently, he's out on parole and keeping a low profile.
This nigga went to prison with another black man for 18 years? And he got caught with the amount of activity that a whole gang gets caught for, which either they actually were the niggas or nobody snitched and they took the 2 of them dudes took the rap, which either way, that's impressive. 175 kilos, 50 guns, and $150,000, I believe. I don't want to play that back because this video's almost over. And only 2 of them went to prison. They did 18 years. Respectfully. Respect. Because they both definitely could have got life in prison. Forever. For real. And these dudes are like walking around, living, having kids, having sex, smoking weed, speeding. And what are you doing with your life? Watching this video. Loser. This man killed a whole gang and did the time for the crimes that a whole gang did, and now he's out here speaking Spanish in helicopters, drinking wine. This man is gonna eat steak and eggs with a glass of red wine, go to sleep when he gets his dick sucked, and look at you living at your mama's house in the basement watching this video with me. What are you doing with your life? What are you doing watching this goddamn video? You should be ashamed. Is that Mike Tyson? He was, man, look, he went from throwing up gang signs in Compton to throwing up gang signs out of elevators. Pushing the buttons. It is what it is. I was trying to make that sound player, but I couldn't think of nothing. It is what it is. It's not what it's not. It's Aaron Moses. That's my leg. I got on these white sweatpants. I'm the band, you the band, because my butt hurts. We the band together, man. Pause. Life is in the breath. Breathe it in. Peace. Gang. Peace.